Alright, so welcome back to my channel, you guys. I want to go ahead and do a video on products that I've changed my mind on. And when I first thought about this video, I was kind of nervous because I tell you guys to go ahead and get some of these products, and then later on it doesn't work for my skin. And before I go ahead and start, I did get this idea from Emily Noel. I'm not sure if she has like extra letters in her name, but you guys pretty much know her. She's so popular. But she did this video and I thought it was a good idea because some products we do start off loving, and then out of nowhere we're just like, you know what, this doesn't work for my skin anymore. I want to go ahead and try something different, or I do go ahead and get some like better products and realize the stuff that I was using wasn't that good. So I want to go ahead and let you guys know what these products are. If you want to stick around and see what I do have, then go ahead and keep on watching. All right, so the first one is a Laura Geller Gilded Honey highlighter, and when I first heard about this, so many people were saying it's the best highlighter out there. If you want to go ahead and glow, buy this highlighter. But when I got it, y'all, let me tell you, people were like, Chichi, what is that streak on your face? Like, it is just sitting on your face. I'm like, supposed to be a highlighter, supposed to make me glow, but people were just not having it on my skin. But this is what it looks like right here. It looks so golden and bronzy, and when you first open it up, it just looks so pretty on the skin. So I was pretty sure it was gonna work on my darker skin tone, but let me go ahead and give y'all a quick swatch. And this is what it looks like. Hopefully the camera is picking it up, but it's very golden and bronzy. But one thing that I did realize was I was using the wrong brush, and at first I was using like a different fan brush. I'm not sure what it was. I think it was the e.l.f. brush, which is very flimsy and not very good quality. This one here is a Morphe, I'm not sure, M310 or M510, I'm not exactly sure, but this is what it looks like. Very fluffy, has a lot of bristles in there, and it just applies it perfectly. So I went ahead and tried it again, and it just looks so good on the skin. It blends really well. It doesn't look like it's sitting on my skin, and I'm just really happy. So with that being said, I didn't love this highlighter at first, but now I do love it. You just have to go ahead and find the right tools and apply it on your face. But this is a very pretty highlighter. I don't have it on today, but if you're looking for a good golden highlighter on your skin, I do recommend this one. So this next one is kind of a little bit confusing because I did rave about this. I said it was one of the best yellow setting powders, and this is a Danessa Myricks Evolution powder in the shade number 3, and this is what it looks like. When I first tried this powder, you guys, I really did love it. I really did, because it was a nice yellow powder, because a lot of powders out there are a little bit too ashy on my skin, or they don't blend really well. They make my under eyes look cakey, but this one looks so smooth and flawless. But one thing I do want to say is, if you love to bake your face, because I bake my face all the time because I'm very oily, this is not a really good powder. I find that it's very finely milled, and it kind of just blends. I don't know how to describe it. It just doesn't look that good on the skin when you go ahead and bake with it. If you want to set your face, I do recommend this, because you can go ahead and apply a little bit of powder underneath the eyes and you're good to go. But if you're baking, it just doesn't look good. I don't know what it is. And I do find this shade is a little bit too yellow for my skin. Kind of looked like I had like jaundice. Is that the word that I'm looking for? I don't know. It made me look sick. That's the best way to describe it. It made me look sick if you went ahead and bake with this. But nonetheless, you guys, it's a very good powder, very finely milled, but I don't use it as much because it's a little bit too dark for my skin, and I can't bake with this. But if you do go ahead and set your under eyes, I do recommend this because it works really well for that, and they have like 7 shades out there, so it is good for that. But if you do bake your face, it's a no for me. Now this next one is kind of funny because I don't know what happened here, but this is a Real Technique sponge, and when I first tried this out, I used to love this sponge so much because it was very cheap, it was very affordable. It wasn't $20 like the Beauty Blender, but I'm not sure if they went ahead and changed something in this because it feels very rubbery. It doesn't blend my foundation or creams really well on my skin. I'm not sure what they did, but they need to go ahead and go back to the old formula or whatever they used to use before, because this is not it. But I do go ahead and use this to bake my face or anything like that with powders. But when it comes to creams and foundations or concealers, I don't use this. One thing I do want to mention, this new sponge, it doesn't rip as much as the old one used to, because I used to go ahead and use it all the time and it'll rip often, but with this one, it doesn't rip that much. So that's a plus, I guess. But when it comes to doing its job, I don't know. I don't like it. So moving on to the No Pore Blem primer. This primer, I did a review on it, and I went back to the review and I noticed that I kind of feel the same way about it. It's supposed to be like a no pore primer. It's supposed to get rid of all your pores, make your skin look really nice and whatnot. And even though it does do that, if you're oily, I don't recommend this primer because my foundation kind of slips off. It doesn't hold throughout the day, and my foundation kind of breaks up throughout the day. And although it kind of does what it's supposed to do, it really just doesn't work for my skin. And also I went ahead and retried it a couple days ago for my pores, and it really didn't even fill them in. So I don't know the point of this primer. It wasn't that expensive. It was $18, and it's still $18 in Sephora, so it's not very, you know, expensive, but at the same time I don't feel like it does what it's supposed to do. It's a good everyday primer if you want to go to the store, you're going to class or something like that, but when it comes to 8 hours plus, I do not recommend this because my foundation does not stick on this. So even though it's very pretty, I love the packaging, it doesn't do what it's supposed to do. So this one hurts me because it was so expensive, you guys. I spent so much money on this, and I heard so many good reviews, so I went ahead and picked it up. And this is a NARS Soft Matte Concealer in the shade Amande. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. A lot of people do love this product right here, but for me, it doesn't work for my under eyes. It's very dry, and it just doesn't blend out well for me. And I've tried so many different techniques out there. I've used a sponge, I use a brush, I let it sit, I blend it really quickly right away. I don't know, it just doesn't work at all no matter what I do. But on the other side, I will say if you do go ahead and use this as a foundation, it's a really good concealer for that, because when you put it on your skin, the way it blends right away is so pretty. Let me go ahead and show y'all. I'm kind of struggling right here. So you go ahead and blend it on the skin, and it just looks so creamy and just really nice. So if you do want to go ahead and spot conceal with this, I will say go ahead and do that, because I think it would be a great concealer. So I may go ahead and get a different shade and use that as a spot concealer or as a foundation, because I do think it works better that way. But when it comes to my under eyes, you guys, it's just a little bit too dry. So if you do have any tips on how to use this correctly, please let me know down below. Alright, so moving on to Fenty Beauty, I do have their foundation, and I know a lot of people are going to go ahead and get mad at me about this one, because I mean, there's so many hype around it. If I can get it out the box, hold on. So this is what the foundation looks like. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen this before, but I don't know what it is with this foundation. When I first tried it, I was kind of a little bit too excited because it was Fenty Beauty. It was their foundation. Everybody out there was just talking about it, so I went ahead and picked it up. And I did really like it. I did go ahead and get the shade, I think 450 first, and that was too orange for my skin. Then I went ahead and got 420. Now, to be honest, I don't even have my perfect shade. This one's a little bit too light, and 450 or 430, I think is what it was a little bit too orange for my skin. So I don't have a perfect foundation, but besides the fact, this foundation doesn't wear well on my skin, and I'm very oily, which I thought the soft matte would be perfect for, but it's a little bit too dry for my skin, and it separates at the end of the day. And I've tried it so many different ways. I've used a primer, I've used no primer, I've done so many different things with this foundation, and it just doesn't work for my skin. So I love Rihanna, I love Fenty Beauty, but at the end of the day, I have to be really honest, because it just doesn't work for my skin. So maybe if they come out with a different formula, I may like it a little bit more. But for me to be oily and for this to be a little bit too dry for my skin, there's something wrong with that. But I did hear a lot of people out there do love this. It depends on what primer you use, how you prep your face and whatnot. So if I'm doing something wrong, let me know down below. But I've tried this so many different ways, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. Okay, so moving on to the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer, I did go ahead and pick up the shade C13. And when this first came out, a lot of people were excited about it because it was kind of a dupe for the Tarte Shape Tape, which a lot of people do love. So I went ahead and picked it up. And although I love the formula and the way it blends and sets on the face, the shades are a little bit off. I don't know what it is. The shade C13 is a good highlight shade, but I still feel like I need one that's a little bit lighter. And the next shade down is a little bit too light for my skin, so I don't have a happy medium with this concealer. And they did just come out with their foundation, and I also want to try that out, but the shades are just a little bit off. So I don't know what it is, but I need to go ahead and fix that. But the reason why I don't love this concealer is because I always go ahead and use it, and it looks really good, but towards the end of the day, I notice it oxidizes so much on my face, and I just look completely orange. And I didn't notice this till I went home, and my mom was like, what is wrong with your foundation? Like, something's a little bit off. I'm like, what are you talking about? I looked in the mirror, you guys, I could have screamed because it just looked so orange and red, and I've been looking like that the whole entire day. So that is not good at all. So even though I do love the formula and the way it blends on the skin, I still feel like they need a little bit of work when it comes to their shades. The lighter spectrum, I feel like they do have a good amount of colors, but when it gets a little bit darker, it just gets worse. That's the honest truth. So if they can fix that, I do feel like this will be a little bit better. Alright, so last but not least is the KKW contour sticks. And you guys know when this first came out, I swear the internet like blew up because everybody wanted to go ahead and review it and just see how this applied on the skin. And when I first tried this, I do remember me saying that the concealer end of it was a little bit too light for my skin and I didn't like the way it blended, but the contour sticks are really creamy and nice on the skin. So I still stand by that. But one thing I do want to mention is let me go ahead and find it. The concealer shade here. I know you can go ahead and use this for so many different things. So I use this as an eyeshadow base or to like, you know, make my eyeshadows pop a little bit more. So you don't have to use it as a concealer. You know, you can go ahead and use it for so many different things on your face. And the other end of it, the highlighter shade, I actually think this is really pretty. It looks very bronzy and has a little bit of purple to it, but it still looks nice on the skin. So I know you can go ahead and use it for different stuff. Now the contour stick itself, this is my favorite part because very creamy on the skin, is very blendable. And I heard she came out with a jumbo version of the contour sticks, and they actually have a little bit of darker shades in there too. So that is really good. So obviously I can't show you guys what the contour sticks look like swatch on my skin because it won't really show up like that. But they do give a little bit of bronze to the face, which is why I love using these. And I may go ahead and pick up the bigger version of these because the bigger full-size version is $20, which is not too bad. All right, so I did change my mind about these. I don't hate them as much because if it doesn't work for your skin, go ahead and find a different way to use it because, I mean, these were expensive. These were not cheap at all. All right, so I do hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I do hope you guys understand why some of these products I used to love and now I don't like them as much because people's mind change all the time, you guys. Our skin changes, we buy better products, and whatever it may be, sometimes our opinion changes on products. So I do hope you guys enjoyed this. Don't forget to like, subscribe on your way out, and I'll see you guys in my next one.